Hey guys, RPM here. Hope you're doing well. Having a really great day. This video, I want to do a state of GPU mining hardware prices as of March of 2023. I haven't done one of these videos for more than about a year now, and I just want to go through a lot in terms of prices of GPUs and what they are now, and also like mining motherboards and just hardware in general of how things are costing now and whether or not if it's a good time to buy in for these types of hardware right now. And a little bit of talk about regarding the future of GPU mining regarding proof of useful work. So before we do that, this video is sponsored by. As a miner, have you ever wanted to own any of these non-mineable cryptocurrencies without going through the hassle of KYC, exchange fees, and taxable events? Well, look no further. Unmineable.com lets you mine with your GPU or ASIC miner to their automated system, which takes care of exchanging and transferring the crypto of your choice to your own wallet. Mine the crypto you want and get started today on unmineable.com, link down below. Thank you, unmineable.com, for sponsoring this video. Make no mistake, since after the Ethereum merge, GPU mining profitability has basically hovered around, I would say, break-even wise in terms of cost per kilowatt hour for most people. I know electricity costs have gone up over the past year, and so I'm going to say I've seen the national average between 12 and 15 cents USD. So depending where you are, right, your electrical cost does matter for GPU mining specifically, and ASIC mining, or all types of crypto mining, to be honest. But it makes sense that over the past year, since the Ethereum merge, we have been seeing profitability swing all over the place between 8 cents and around 12 cents. So as of recording this video, 12 cents per kilowatt hour is pretty much breaking even on a single 3070 GPU. All right, these are just average overclocks. If you put in your numbers specifically for the efficient numbers that you can achieve on your 3070, you can actually get better profit numbers here. But I digress. Looking at these numbers here, around 12 cents per kilowatt hour. And more so this past month, we have seen a lot of proof of work mineable coins go up in price, more so than Ethereum. So if we look at the year to date here in terms of on my proof of work watch list on CoinMarketCap, you guys can see we got Conflux here. 800%, Aletheium, Caspa, Zano, Nervos, that's an ASIC mineable coin, but Sia coin as well, Zilliqa, right? A lot of few different coins out there where you can dual mine on LOL miner or G miner. Those software have notably come out of the woodworks to dual mine with Zilliqa, right? Flux Zil, Caspa Zil, Radiant Zil, Nexa Zil, that's all possible now. But just going down here, right? You can see that Ethereum, in terms of the percentage here, year to date, it hasn't done well than a lot of these other coins, even Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin's creeping away a little bit here, only 4%. But I mean, we got Flux here, 9% year to date. We got Firo, GPU mineable coin, Cortex, GPU mineable coin. Just a lot of different mineable coins here that have essentially outpaced Ethereum since the merge. So I just want to give some perspective there as to when we are now looking at prices for hardware, okay? So I've done these videos before, just looking at what hardware is, what was in the past, and here we are today. So let's just do some quick fun things here. So first one I want to do is GPU prices. So the video I did last, which was almost less than a year ago, back in July of 2022, these GPUs, like a 5700 for instance, was hovering around $300. And this was on Nerd Gears, okay? So that's when things were still kind of profitable, decently profitable, but GPUs were still expensive during July of 2022. So I haven't made a video like comparing what hardware prices were since after then, but now here we are, March of 2023. We look at Nerd Gears. Nerd Gears actually has a bunch of GPUs. I'm not sponsored by them in this video, but you can see that a 5700 XFX RX 5700 8GB card now is $159. All right, so this is coming from $300 pretty much, 9-10 months ago. And here we are today. They are half price. We got Radeon 7s, 289, 3070 Ti's, 424. If you guys do decide to buy something on Nerd Gears, I do have a coupon code called RedPanPan for 2% off. I don't get any commission or anything from that, but just if you guys do decide to buy something, you get a little bit off. Every little bit helps. But now looking at what are the prices of like 3070s? Okay, so on eBay, I think these prices since after the merge have pretty much have stayed stagnant. Maybe they've come down a little bit more since, maybe September, October. We've been hovering around $350 to $400 per RTX 3070. Okay, I've seen some people pay absorbent amount still, even till this day. It's March 6th as of recording this video. So people are still paying a pretty penny for 30 series cards. I mean, as well, for Nvidia's sake, they've been kind of manipulating the market, not kind of, definitely manipulating the market, supply and demand, withholding, inventory or stopping manufacturing of certain models of GPUs and trying to create that artificial, supply and demand so that they can keep the prices of these GPUs high, right? Especially with the 40 series. I still stand by of a video I did a while ago. I think I said I'm not buying 40 series GPUs for mining. I have not bought a single 40 series GPU, right, for mining because I don't support Nvidia and their business practices of what they're doing here to the consumer. And especially for us crypto miners, I feel like we should boycott Nvidia because they're not only screwing over the gamers, but screwing over us miners as well. Anyways, let's look at motherboard prices. This is a pretty good indicator to see when things are now basically unprofitable for most people. And so mining motherboards specifically, we got a TB360 BTC Pro. I remember this motherboard being like $300 back then. This is a 12 GPU mining motherboard, and now it's $57 on Amazon. It says was $67. Pretty sure over the past half year here, the prices of these have been coming down more and more. But you can see we got a BioStar TZ590 BTC. This is with 10th gen and 11th gen processors. But you can see here, this one is actually $161. So this is still a little bit, I'm going to say a little bit up there still. We got the ASRock H510 Pro BTC Plus motherboard. This has 6 PCIe slots. That's $153. I feel like that's still too expensive, but it's definitely a lot cheaper than it was before. I remember that being like $300 to $400 for this motherboard specifically last year. So to go along with, let's say, the TB360, the processors are definitely, I would say, coming down a little bit as well. I remember the G4900 for these 300 series, chipset motherboards for the TB360. These were over $100, sometimes $150 when GPU mining was really profitable. So I would say Celeron CPUs have definitely come down in price. Look at this, the G5905 for the 400 series chipset, LGA 1200 CPU, $26. Only one left in stock, but I mean, that's pretty cheap. That's really cheap. I haven't seen this cheap since previous bear market of 2018 when the Asus mining expert boards were selling on Amazon for like $30. Processors were really cheap as well for Celerons. So is this a really good time to buy this type of hardware now? Well, you got to consider what is upcoming and also current state of GPU mining and also the emissions of a lot of these crypto mining proof of work projects that are out there. Because I know for a fact, including myself, you guys have seen in my videos, I'm pretty much like a hoarder of crypto mining hardware right now. And I have a lot of GPUs that are offline still. I haven't really turned them on yet, but I'm not the only one, right? So consider the fact that when things start going up in price, and if these projects can handle all of the offline hardware that could come online and take advantage of the profitability of these networks, then it may not be imperative to buy hardware now because it might just be too difficult. But it's going to really depend on your own situation, what your cost per kilowatt hour is, what your expenses are going to be. Not everyone is going to, let's say someone with like 25 cents per kilowatt hour, I probably maybe I wouldn't get into buying this type of hardware for you, but for those that have cheaper electric, like 7 cents or 6 cents or 5 cents per kilowatt hour, for anyone that does have that, there are people out there, they are probably looking at this hardware and just probably like mouth watering right now because this is times like for them to accumulate this type of hardware when things are much cheaper. So another thing I saw was on gpurisers.com, not sponsored them in this video, but they have a combo bundle here. So 12 risers, 12 GPU mining frame, 12 of the dual 8-pin splitters, and they also have 8 of the white LED fans. Okay, so it doesn't include the motherboard, processor, or power supply, or RAM, or anything like that, and no GPUs, but it has everything else, right, to basically have the backbone of your mining rig for $170. This combo about a half year ago was $265. Okay, so this price has come down, and I do have a coupon code Red Panda Mining for 10% off. Total, that'll be $153 for this huge combo for all this stuff. So this is this might be something for someone that maybe want to get into GPU mining, and it might be imperative for you to buy this now, but depending on your electrical cost, of course, depending on the risk you want to take, this is a pretty good bundle, right? This is a really good bundle for all these extra parts, which could add up, especially during the bull run. These types of parts are not cheap, especially if they're in stock or not in stock or not. It might be imperative for you to buy this stuff now, as potentially GPU mining could become more profitable in the future. Right? We're not quite sure when the next, maybe in the next Bitcoin cycle that's coming up. Bitcoin halving is coming up in a year. There's a lot of different strategy you can go about, buying all this type of hardware now versus later on in the bull run. Then the prices of this stuff, when profitability comes back, you're going to see these types of motherboards. You're going to see these types of bundles. You're going to see these risers, everything, GPUs start going up in price again. You don't want to fall into the FOMO feeling of when things are starting to get good again and profitable and fighting against everyone else that's trying to buy hardware at the same time. So if it was me personally with, cheap, 10-cent electricity or maybe lower, I would start buying this hardware right now, because this is pretty cheap. This is really cheap actually compared to what it was before, especially with mining motherboards and whatnot. But now there's one thing, there's another caveat here, kind of like a risk that is coming up here with these mining motherboards. Okay, with proof of useful work potentially being a thing for, let's say Flux. People have been talking about Dynex. I'm not really into that project, but proof of useful work, whether or not that could be something, with GPU utilization for rendering, cloud computing, whatever. A lot of different projects could utilize those types of use cases, and Flux could be one of them. People were talking about render token, not quite sure if they're going to do that, but any other project out there that proof of useful work could be something that you'd have to utilize motherboards and PCIe slots specifically that are at least X8 or X16 for the bandwidth. So for example, like the mining motherboards like the TB360, these have X1 PCIe slots. So that's not going to be great for proof of useful work potentially, because they need, at least from what I've heard, at least X8 PCIe slots for the bandwidth purpose. And so these motherboards may not be able to participate in things like that. So when you're going to look at something like proof of useful work potentially, you're probably going to look at motherboards that have, full X16 slots, like, the Asus Prime Z690Ps. These were pretty notorious motherboards, especially I think the Z170As or Z270P Asus motherboards. Like those, for people that still have these types of motherboards, you're still good. Right? You're going to be just fine for, future potential for like proof of useful work. But you'll probably have to buy like some ribbon cable for the X16 slots if you want to spread out your GPUs and utilize at least X8. So realistically, you can maybe only put like 4 GPUs on like a Z690P, for instance. But you have to look at if these motherboards are, if these 4 slots can actually use fully X8 PCIe lanes, right? That's going to be a whole other thing as well. So maybe realistically 2 or 3 GPUs max per motherboard in order to take advantage of potential, rendering, proof of useful work, whatever, all that kind of stuff. And, processors as well. You're probably not going to want to invest into Celeron CPUs. You probably want to invest into like at least i3s, maybe i5s, or at least i7s for potentially proof of useful work, as it's going to use a lot more compute. You're going to need more threads, cores to process all that stuff from your GPUs and whatnot. So there's a lot of future proofing that you may want to consider when, potentially buying this type of hardware now, when prices could be, relatively low to compare to what they were before. So you just have to think about that. So please understand the risks before you start buying this stuff and you're seeing this type of hardware really low. All right, my friends, let me know your thoughts. I think that's all I wanted to go through, but that's pretty much what the prices are realistically for this type of hardware out in the market right now, compared to what the profitability is for GPU mining as of right now, okay, in March of 2023. All right, let me know your guys' thoughts. I appreciate you all. Have a good one. Peace out.